says like whoever comes first, whoever is early, there is no one to appreciate him. Now in Assert, we believe like it's not. We are there for you. So next time, from 4 to 4:10, whoever comes in, we are going to actually give all of them.
We're going to have a lucky draw especially for people who reach the venue by 4:10. By the way, in the last 4 years, we've had an impeccable record. We have started tech days on the minute, probably 39 out of 40 times, which is an incredible record considering the traffic in Mumbai, considering the way events are conducted in Mumbai, where a 1 hour, 2 hour delay is expected. So after Assert wanting to start its event on time, we want to do something where we reward our members for coming on time. So we have 3 lovely cross pens as a lucky draw for the first 10 people who walked in. Henceforth, it will be for the first few people who walk in before 4:10. So if there are 10, 5, 20, whatever, but please take it, nice gifts. I would like to also introduce somebody who's been working in the background all this time. I would like to introduce Arvind Singh, our president of Assert. Probably you get a lot of mails from Arvind all this time, and I'm the guy who's visible on the tech days. But Arvind is the one who's really working hard and making sure that things happen on time. So Arvind, for starters, is going to reward 3 out of the 10 people for coming early today. Arvind, can I have you take the lucky dip?
It's Guru Tech.
All right, before I take the next paper from the box, friends, I want to give you some little bit insight. We had a board member called Ravi Bhavnani for 3 years after starting Assert. After 3 years, he said, I have a lot of work commitments, so he chose to move away from the board. He did not contest again in the elections. But day after day, week after week, we make him work for Assert. And he actually puts in as much time as he used to do it for the first 3 years. He sends messages. He manages the Assert IT, which is quite a thing. We have a lot of things at the back end. So big round of applause for Ravi. He chooses not to be seen in the limelight, but I think all of you should know that this is his dedication to Assert. All right, can we have the next paper? Ravi, can you please put your hand in and select the next?
Yeah, Gaurang. Gaurang.
All right, Arvind, can you please take the next paper from the box? We're done. All right, the next and the last lucky winner for today is
Ravi Jalan.
Congratulations, Ravi. Thank you so much for coming on time. And guys, we value our own time, we value your time. So you can expect that Assert is going to continue living up to its time schedule. And Guys, after the last session today, which is the one after this, hello, we will be giving you a feedback form to just know what you want out of a cert. And out of all the guys who fill the feedback form, we have 10 NPAV gold editions to be given to you. Just fill the lucky draw before going for dinner after this session. And we have 10 NPAV boxes for to be given as lucky draw again after the sessions. So now let me not waste more time. We are going to have the next. We are going to have the next sponsor, which is Fishing Cloud. We have Shrikant and Amod, very popular figures in our fraternity. Again, a made in India product doing very well. Today they're going to announce a new product for the ASSERT fraternity. I wish them all the best on behalf of ASSERT. And over to you, Shrikant.
Thank you very much, sir. Primarily only, I think, gentlemen, good evening. My name is Shrikant, and it's extremely heartening. As in, this is the third time I'm coming this year for ASSERT. And one common thing I've been seeing is that the first time we came was probably in, I think, May last year. And each time that we've been coming, the audience has just been growing, so it's extremely heartening. So it's, I think, the brilliant job by the committee here. I think the management committee is doing super. So very quickly, that's my colleague Amod right there, and Amod is a person who kind of got us our entire go-to-market efforts. What we are doing today in the market is thanks to him having come on board for the ride. I'm going to spend a quick 20-25 minutes and take you very quickly through about 7 or 8 slides. I would like to actually spend more time on the demo, but unfortunately what's happening is that the internet here is not very cooperative. We are trying with the hotel internet as well as trying to make a 3G hotspot out of our cell phones, but we haven't been too successful there. So unfortunately we're going to spend more time on the slides, which is not was my original intent, but we'll try to be brief on that part. Very quickly, Fission Cloud, like just heard, we are a 3-year-old company. It's a 100% Make in India company based out of Bangalore and Mumbai. Bangalore, we have 56 people based out of Vijayanagar, a small, unpretentious part of Bangalore. So we basically have a bungalow that we bought and converted to an office, and that's what basically our employees sit out of that office, and the development and the support run out of Bangalore. Mumbai, we have an office in Chembur, and it's mainly the sales and marketing efforts are driven out of Mumbai. We started as a company which does, our original concept when we started was as a company which does 2 things. Cloud migration, and by cloud migration I mean there are a lot of people talking about moving to the cloud. People talking about Microsoft Azure, people talking about Amazon AWS, Rackspace, so many other clouds, IBM Software and so on. But what was really lacking in the market is an automatic way for people to do a live migration, not a point in time migration that, okay, you say on a Friday evening I'll start my migration after my employees have gone home, and hopefully the entire IT staff will be working for 48 hours flat out over the weekend, and hopefully on Monday you'll have some semblance of moving to the cloud. So what we want to do really was to have a live and automated way for migrating to the cloud, and that's what our first offering is. It's basically a mechanism for people to migrate to the cloud. We support almost all popular clouds, and I'll touch upon some of those pieces in the subsequent slides. The second part of what we do is we do business continuity. We really don't like to call our product as a backup and disaster recovery product, because that seems slightly more dated in the kind of world that we are right now. And I'll also touch upon why we call ourselves nearline business continuity rather than just plain old backup and DR. So the company, like I said, we started only, I think March 1st is when this team really came on board. So last year, March 1st is when we started our go-to-market efforts in India. Prior to that, we had a few OEM deals with cloud providers in Europe and US. But it was more of a joint go-to-market with them rather than having our own go-to-market in those markets. And it's only in India that we have our own direct sales team and sales and marketing team where we're going direct to channel as well as end customers. We have a few patents also. These are all US granted patents, so USPO patents that we have which are on the cloud migration technology itself. And on the technology piece I can discuss more as we go along. Very quickly, on the migration technology, like I said, we do 2 things, right? We do migration and we do backup and DR, what we now call nearline business continuity. But basically on the migration piece, we have a product which you drop a small piece of software, an agent on a Windows server or a Linux server, and it will do an automatic and live migration. So when I say live, a few things. First, when you drop our software, there is no reboot of a production server required. So on a Windows machine or a Linux server, it's a production workload, you don't need to reboot a server. We do an exact block copy. So we're looking at a file system level, at an NTFS file system level in the case of Microsoft Windows. In the case of Linux, at the ext2, ext3 or the ZFS file system. And we copy the blocks of disk and we send it over to the target cloud. So we support Amazon AWS, as you can see. I'm not sure how clear this is, but there's a bunch of logos here. There's Amazon, we support Microsoft Azure, we support OpenStack. Closer home, we support companies like Webworks. We have very strong go-to-market with Webworks, with Excel hosts. I believe some of them are also partners here at Assert. And we also work with companies like NetMagic. We work with companies like ControlS. Quite a lot of domestic traditional data center operators also are something that we partner with. And obviously the classical cloud providers like a Microsoft Azure or an Amazon AWS. We are also a Microsoft partner, a cloud partner for them, and we work a lot, quite closely with the Microsoft team there. So the whole objective of the product is that you drop the agent, configure your, for the sake of just example, you take Amazon AWS or Microsoft Azure. All you do is give your secret key and your passcode, and it'll do a live migration of your product to Azure or to AWS. So if you really think back, what you're really doing is actually tremendously complex from a technology perspective. Why? Because we will first migrate what is physical or virtual. So it could be, for example, on the source machine, it could be a VMware hypervisor. It could be a physical machine running on physical hardware. We will automatically and transparently convert it to the format that is required by the target cloud. So for example, Amazon AWS uses obviously the Zen hypervisor. Microsoft obviously will use Hyper-V in Azure. Rackspace traditionally uses the KVM hypervisor, the Red Hat KVM hypervisor. So automatically behind the scenes, we will convert the format to the target cloud's platform, which is a big deal because without you having to worry about which format and conversions to do, we are trying to, this tool will do it for you automatically. So we support all the 5 popular hypervisors in the market today. Of course, the big ones are obviously VMware and Hyper-V. We also support KVM. We support Oracle VirtualBox. And we support Citrix Zen. So pretty much the more popular hypervisors that are in the market today, all of them that we support. So regardless of whatever is a source machine, it could be a physical machine or a virtual machine on any of these 5 hypervisors, we can take it to any of the standard clouds. We can take it to Amazon, we can take it to Microsoft Azure, the more popular guys, or like I said, even some of the Indian vendors like a ControlS or a NetMagic or
we say compose, okay? And we are too lazy to remember also. So when we are inside a particular mail and we say we want to reply, what do we say? R to reply. Very simple. No need to remember anything. R to reply. Okay. What else do you do? F to forward. If you say F, forward. So I'm not looking for the icon anywhere on the screen. Very often we have to look for forward. Where is forward? Up there, down there, somewhere it is there. What do you reply on? Sorry? A. So these are very, very simple shortcuts which, and when you go from mail to mail, suppose you are in a particular mail and you want to go to the next mail, how do you go to the next mail? J and K. J is to move forward, K is to move backwards. Okay, so when I say J, I go to the next mail, J is to the next mail, J is to the next mail, K is to the previous mail. Somehow, for some strange reason, J and K are not very indicative. Jammu and Kashmir. Sorry? They are center of the keyboard, so it becomes easier. So you use J and K to move up and down. Because a lot of times it happens. Once you have read the mail, you have to go back, then again go to the next mail, click on it. So here it becomes just straight away J, 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 go to the next mails. Or you say K, go to the previous mail. Very simple. Okay, so this is searching mails. How do you search for a particular mail within Gmail? Gmail, how many mails do you have on an average? 5,000 minimum. I am using Gmail since last so many years. I have something like 35,000, 40,000. So to search for a mail is a very tedious task, because if you say from so and so, or you look for a keyword, that is the simplest way. You look for a keyword and you will get so many mails for that particular keyword, right? Everybody has done a search, and in Google search, how do you do a Google search? You have plus sign. So when you say this plus this, it means this and this word both should be there. If you put it into inverted commas, it should be in an exact phrase. All those things work beautifully. But now I am looking for something in the sent box. How do I look for that? So it is very simple. You say in colon sent, and then put the name of whatever you want to see. Now Google is little more intelligent, so instead of colon you can even drop the colon, so you can just say in sent, look for something XYZ. So it automatically understands that you are looking for the sent box. So when you say in colon, what it means is look into a particular box, whether it is in sent, in inbox, in outbox, wherever. Okay? If you are looking for a starred mail, what do you say? Is colon starred. You put a star when an important mail comes. Suppose you are receiving a password or user ID or credentials of a particular site, you star it. When you star it, then you have to look for it, obviously. So when you say from a particular person is starred, means I will see all the mails which are starred from a particular person. Are you getting this? Is colon starred, or I am looking for a particular mail from a particular person, so I will say from a certain person. Sorry. From a certain person is starred. Now I can use all of this in conjunction also. Is colon starred. So I can look for a person's or I can look for somebody who has sent me a mail, but I know he sends me lots of mails, but I want to look for an attachment. So I'll say has attachment. Okay, so from so and so has attachment, so I'll see all mails coming from this person which has an attachment only. I will not see any other mails. So these are some of the keywords that you use. Is, in, has, before, after. You can use these dates also, because lots of times I have mails say from last so many years. So I want to see a mail, I remember last January he has sent me a mail. So I'll say before a certain date, after a certain date. I can write that also. Before colon, after colon. These are the keywords which you use for the dates. Otherwise, Gmail always organizes everything chronologically. There is no other way in which you can go to a particular date. Otherwise, if you have to look for a item which is in 2010, you have to go back and reach that particular date. Isn't it? So here you can just say before and after, and you can go directly. Only thing is you have to write the dates in a YYY MMDD format. YYYY MMDD. That format is compulsory. Otherwise, he is not going to search. In the US format. Not really US also. This is something absolutely ulta from what we do. So it is year, month and date format. So you can say before colon, after colon. Sorry? Between also is available, but it is working in a slightly different way.
This format is chartered accountants format.
I don't know which chartered accountants use it.
No, I'll tell you why. Because they put the year, the month and the date, so that there is when they index,
Right, it comes properly.
comes in a very proper fashion.
Typically, I would say it is a Linux format, because Gmail is in Linux.
Actually, it is called universal date format. It is used by programmers.
Right. Hardcore programmers, not lay people like me.
Can you show some example of the date? How
So I am saying from so and so has attachment, and now I've got something I want to see. Before colon 2016 /01 /31. So now my subset has reduced. Everything that is before, I can use before, after together also. So that becomes in between. So before and after I can use conjunctively. So it's very simple and easy to remember. There is nothing which we have to write down. But then a lot of people, they don't remember all this. So, and we are lazy. That is another thing. So what Google allows you is, gives you something else. In the search window, there is a small box there. If you click on it, you get most of these options, not all, but most of these options. So search from, to, subject, has the words, doesn't have something, has attachment, doesn't include chats, size is greater than something. You're looking for a huge mail, which was, yes sir.
Can we search for mails which have attachments of bigger than particular size? Say
Yes.
more than 1 MB.
Size greater than. Date within 1 day of so and so date. So if you say date within 1 month of 31st January, so you'll see from 1st January to 28th February. Okay, so you have both these options. These options are also, and you are looking at it in a very, very simplistic way. So we don't notice this small down arrow here when you do a search. When you go through this down arrow, you get all these options. It has the words something, it doesn't have these words, etc., etc. And you have these shortcuts where you can type in colon, has colon, is colon, etc., etc. Are we clear on this? Now both these shortcuts as well as these search options, if you are very keen to know it or you forget it, you just press question mark and you get a lot of shortcuts. Okay, we don't know. There is help which is inbuilt in Google. So if you want to see what shortcuts we are having or what are the, there are hazard other shortcuts. I am just showing you a few of these. How I got it? Just question mark. When you are in this window, question mark, and you get this. All the options, there are lots more. See, if you go down here, there are lots more. Go to inbox is G and I. So it will take you directly to inbox wherever you are in Google and Gmail. Okay. So there are lots of options here. Go to inbox, go to start conversation. So G and then start. Is easy? Now only question mark we have to remember. We don't have to remember anything else. Only the question mark and all are. So this is very simple. If I say go to inbox, G and I, it will take me directly to inbox. So I don't have to remember to come here, click here, etc., etc. So these are the shortcuts and these are the search options. Now this is something very interesting. when you are in a mail and you say reply, I just said R and I type something, and I say send, what happens? The mail goes, obviously. But 90% of the time I remember I forgot the attachment. So I have an option to undo. It will pull back the mail and I'm back to where I started.
Pullback means it's not delivered.
It is not delivered, no.
What is
So-
the time frame for it?
Okay, I'll come to all these things.
There are a lot of bloopers we
You can't undo after 2 days. You have a small window up to a maximum of 30 seconds. Up to 30 seconds, you can undo, or if you do any other operation, suppose you go to another mail, then this fellow gets sent. There are options 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, but I always prefer to keep it at 30 because that is the maximum. He doesn't allow more than 30 seconds. So what happens actually is, this fellow goes and sits in the draft, and until the 30 seconds is over, he does not send it at all. So he sits in draft, and after 30 seconds it delivers, or if you do any other operation, it will deliver. If you say undo, तो किसी को गाली लिख लिया एकदम, and then in a fit of anger you have done it, and then you say send, and then you realize shit, I should not have done it. Then what happens? You can recall it. Or most common, forgot attachment. You remember it only after you press send. Yeah, if you write in the text, yes, it will also highlight it to you. But if you have not written anything and you try to send it without an attachment, it will allow you to undo the. The other major issue is you want to reply to all. Most probably, sometimes you want to only reply to other person and you don't want to reply to all. Your default is reply to all. And you want to only send to one person, and you say, oh gosh, I didn't want this fellow to know. होता है, बहुत time होता है. Sometimes it is internal, sometimes it is external.
That normally happens after 30 seconds.
Sorry? No, I have not come across. I cannot say no, I have not come across, that is all that I can say. But undo send is a very, very useful feature, because every time we get into this situation where we send something and realize that it was not to be sent, you can recall it. Again, to enable it, you have to go to settings and enable undo send. Go to settings. There is an option called undo send. Here, enable undo send. And send cancellation period, maximum is 30 seconds. What happens if I quit Gmail in the meanwhile? It will send it. Okay? What happens if I go to any other mail and start doing something else? It will allow me to do it and that message will be sent. So those things you have to be careful. Undo has to be done when on the top you say undo send is option is there. If it goes, then the mail has gone. Then you have to apologize. Then nothing else you can do. Yeah, you had some question there? Somebody had a question there? Sorry, I can't hear you. Replace and? Recall option, I have not come across, but or replace. But you can't go into another person's mailbox and. Sorry? Sorry, but I have not come across. If there is something else, please guide me. I will be happy to learn. Once it is delivered to somebody's mailbox, then it is, and it is not fair also. Let us be very clear. And once you deliver it to somebody, somebody has read it, and then you say, no, I didn't want you to read it, come. I can't. You can bring it back from his inbox, but from his memory you cannot bring it back. He has seen it already.
Sir, what they're trying to say is once they send a code, they can recall it so many times they can revise the price of it.
That we all need to do all the time, because next day the price is higher. So you have these 3-4 options, 5, 10, 20 and 30 seconds, but I guess keep it at the highest, because the minute you do something else, automatically the mail gets delivered. So you don't have to remember to send it later on. So there are lots of things which are behind the scene as far as settings are concerned. Let us quickly see something else. Inserting images has now become very easy. Earlier it was a little convoluted, but now inserting images within Gmail is very easy. You just drag an image and drop it into the box, and that becomes easy. Or else there is one small icon down below. Earlier it was little convoluted. Here there is an icon down below, insert photo. So you just click on it, then you select it from wherever you want to pick it up, and it can come inside the Gmail. Earlier it always used to be an attachment and it was not inline. Now it is inline. Signatures, everybody knows how to do signatures. Yes, that is important. You can put your company logo, you can put a hyperlink also there, which is very interesting. Because normally when you put a signature, what do? See, if I now say compose, what happens? You will see my regards, my name, my company name and my telephone number. Now this particular logo also has a hyperlink. So I can just click on this and go to my company website. So this is very simple. You go to signatures, again in settings. These are all standard settings. This is a signature where you can do formatting of the signature also. You have all these options, left align, right align, bold, underline, whatever you want to do it. You can put whatever you want to do, and then you can just highlight something and put a hyperlink there. So here you can highlight this and put a hyperlink. Where should this go to? You can incorporate a hyperlink into any text also. It could be text, it could be an image. If it is a company logo, you can put your image. Somebody clicks on the image, it goes directly to your website.
Is there an option of delayed sending?
Yes, I'll come to that.
The signature that we define on Gmail, I mean on this, can it be used to my Android phone when I...
It is not so far. No.
Sir?
I
When you say that it's on the signature, but when we write it, it comes in a faded color.
Yeah, that's not editable. It's grayed
It's
out.
not very prominently clear or visible.
Not necessarily. Why do you say that? When we go to compose, the signature is very clear. You bold it. If you feel that it is not so clear, you want to make it bold, you want to make it colored, whatever you want to do. Because all the formatting options are available in the signature box. So you can put formatting, you can put hyperlinks. Normally it should not happen. It should be exactly as you do it. So signatures is very simple. Just go to signatures and you can put an image here. You can put 1, 2, 3, 4. All your formatting options are there. Okay, in short, everything is there. You can put colored text, images, alignment, choose the formatting of the text, font of the text, everything you can do. And you can straight away. Now Google has become little smart, because earlier what used to happen is whenever you are in the settings window, you always had to go down below and say save changes. If you didn't say save changes, it would lose all your settings. So always remember to say save settings. Now Google has become smart. If I try to get out from here, it says, it gives you a warning that you have changed something, you have not saved it. So you want to discard or you want to keep it.
Can I interrupt?
Yes, please.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
How do you create multiple copies of the same documents in draft? For example, we need to send, let's say, 100 emails which have the same content. I just need to change the name. In Outlook, obviously, we have got copy paste and we make 100.
Here also you'll copy it and keep it in your clipboard and then go on pasting.
No, resend.
Or do it as a BCC.
No, want to send a resend a mail. I mean, normally in Outlook, what
Mass
we do is
mailing,
resend a
mass
mail
mailing.
and change the email ID.
Mass mailing, you do a BCC. You do a BCC and put as many. These fellows, they have a limitation of 50. More than 50, they. Sorry? Yeah, if you have a paid app.
No, 1 second.
Yeah.
The draft over here, when you select it, you can make multiple copies of the same email as draft. I mean, that's what we want to do. If I want to send 100 messages
Yeah.
of the same this thing and I want to not type them or forward them each time, then
Put it in BCC, na? It's the simple way.
no. 1 second. I want to keep 100 drafts of the same
Right,
email
right.
in my drafts folder so that I can just add the name each time I want to send that email.
The mail merge, something like mail merge.
Mail merge is sending 100 emails at one go. Yeah, as a template. Sorry, yeah, that's a correct word.
It's available. There's not a third-party plugin. I'll send you mail.
No, I don't want a third party.
No, Gmail doesn't have it,
Gmail doesn't.
not to my knowledge, but there are lots of third-party plugins which could have this. And we will see some third-party plugins also. Sorry? Resend the mail. Forward. Yeah. Okay, no, I don't have, resend to the same person, I don't have a solution yet.
Take it offline and meeting, you start your session, complete it out.
Sorry?
It will take 10 o'clock then.
Come again.
Sir, session complete करो आपका जो है, बाद में उनको offline ले लो सारे को.
Okay. Yeah, there are lots of questions, obviously. So here when you try to get out of settings, it asks you whether you want to keep the changes or discard. Earlier it was not having this. Change your password, very simple. Every day, somebody from antivirus also would have told you, you must change your password once in 3 months, once in a month, but sometimes it is once in 10 years, we change the password. Why? Because we don't know how to change the password in Gmail. में password कैसे change करना है? Yeah? Anybody has tried to change his password in Gmail? So once when you bought your mobile phone, you put the password and then it remains there forever, right? Because you don't want to fool around. Changing password again is very simple. You go to settings, you go to accounts, first option is change password. It is hidden in a very unpredictable place. Sorry? In the sign in, yes, but normally it is all by default. You start your Chrome and Gmail is always there. So we say change password, keep it difficult, this, that, etc. But that is another story, how to keep passwords without, keep strong passwords without needing to remember. That is another session by itself. The other interesting thing in Gmail is the use of filters. No, there are lots of people who keep on sending mails to you, and when you unsubscribe also, they keep on sending it to you and you get bored, and therefore you use filters in Gmail. So there are many ways in which you can use filters. Very simple is you identify the person who is sending and you say, if I get a mail from this fellow, just delete it. So there are so many things that you can do which can be automated. For example, if I get a mail from my bank, I want it to go automatically to my accounts department, I should be able to do it. Why again and again I have to forward it to my accounts department? So I should be able to do so many things automatically. So that is where Gmail allows me to use filters. Now this is interesting. How many of you use filters already? Quite a few. So we'll just run through it. Here you have the option of, say I got so many filters already there. I can create a new filter. Yeah? In settings? No, not in settings, yes. Everything is in settings. You go to filter. You can define the conditions. If the mail is from a certain person, or if the mail is to a certain person, or if it is from somebody to a somebody, and a copy is always marked to you, or if the subject, everything is this, and this. If you skip anything, it is ignored. It is very simple. Has the words, doesn't have the words. There are lots of times earlier, maybe about 5 years ago, lots of mails used to come with Viagra. Now you don't get, because the mail filters themselves, they are filtering it out. So you can say, has the words Viagra, it has an attachment, size is more than a certain size. These are the conditions that you are giving. Once you give a condition, suppose I say any mail coming from a certain person, create a filter with this search. Now what all I can do with it? Skip the inbox, directly put it in archive. This is a reference mail. I get one daily market report. I don't have to see it every day, but I will want to keep it as a reference. So I can directly archive it. So it is there, but it is not visible to me in my inbox. So it doesn't disturb me all the time. I can archive it, I can mark it as read, I can star it. Some important people who are sending me mails, I can automatically put a star without every time remembering to go and put a star. I can put a star, I can apply a label. Now this is interesting. The concept of labels is very clear in Gmail. How many of you are using labels? Almost everyone. So instead of folders which you have in Outlook, you have labels. The advantage of labels, anybody can give me any advantage of label? Exactly. That is the most important thing. In Outlook, what happens is you put it in a folder, it remains in the folder. But the same item can go to multiple labels so that you can search it in any way. I can say that this is from my supplier, this is from my friend, this is a circular, this can be anything. A label I can create myself. So when I tag one particular, it's like a tag. In today's terminology, you call it as a tag. So once I give multiple tags to the same conversation or to the same email, I can find it in multiple places, or I can, when I do a search, I can label colon so and so, label colon so and so, label colon so and so. So I can find it much faster. Yeah, somebody had a question?
Even you can have a listing of labels. I think for more classifying in a proper
Yeah, you have listing of labels. So you can choose a label. You can automatically forward it to a particular address. As I said, like an accounts mail can go directly to the accounts department. A marketing mail can directly go to the marketing department. So I don't have to sit and forward, at the beginning of the day, I don't have to sit and forward each and every mail. So although it remains in my inbox, I will automatically forward it to the respective person. I can delete it, or I have this option of never to send it to spam if it is an important customer and his system is infected or his system is marked as spam, I should always say, never mark this as spam. Send a canned response. Canned response we will come to later. You just skip it for the time being. Always mark it as important, always mark it as, never mark it as important, etc., etc. And you can apply the filter to existing categories. So this is one way of filtering. The other interesting way of filtering is you go to a lot of sites where they insist on taking your email address and then hammering you with mails. And then they will be smart enough because they know that you can set a filter. So they will send it from different addresses. So it will be xyz@soandso.com, abc@soandso.com. So it will never go as spam if you have marked it as spam here. Because every time you don't know what that guy is going to write. Now the interesting part is that after your email ID, suppose my email ID is yasdt@gmail.com. If I put a plus sign, everything after the plus sign, Gmail ignores. So if I say yasdt plus something, Gmail will ignore. And I give that address to an outsider. So whenever a mail comes to me in that address, automatically I want it to go to spam. I can overcome the problem of spam coming from somebody who is going on changing his email addresses. Are we clear on this?
How you got the search first?
Which search?
This drop down box now.
See, here you go to settings, here you have filters and blocked addresses. Come to filters and say create a new filter. In your case you may not have any filters, so you will come here straight away, create a new filter. And this is where you get this.
You have got more detailed.
Yeah, so when you have something here, you give the conditions and then create a filter with this search, and then these are the things that you can do. One is the condition. If the condition is fulfilled, do this. Okay? Now coming back to the earlier one I was telling you about, if your email ID is xyz@gmail.com, anything that you put after xyz plus, the minute you put a plus sign, Gmail will ignore everything after that and it will deliver to your mailbox. But when you are setting a filter here, you can say xyz plus spam or whatever you may call it. You don't call it spam. xyz plus corporate. Whatever you call it, plus corporate will be ignored and Gmail will deliver it to your inbox. But when you go to spurious sites or when you go to sites where you don't want to give your email address, you can define xyz plus corporate@gmail.com, and here you can set a filter. If it is xyz plus corporate, then I have to take it to archive, or I have to delete it, or I have to mark it as spam, or I have to put it in my inbox. Whatever I want to do, I can do. So the plus sign is always ignored when you give it to outsiders. Okay? So the mail will be delivered, but still it can be handled the way you want to do it. Yeah.
But the outsider, when he gets my mail with a plus sign, he will knock it off.
If he knocks it off, see, how many of us knew about this? Okay, one person, two people knew about this. Not many people know about it. So now all of you can knock it off if you want to, you know. Sorry? Yeah, multiple forwarding also you can do. Yeah, you can do it. Put a comma and put a next mail. Yeah, in the forwarding address. You can forward it to multiple people. Yeah, you have to activate forwarding. The conditions you have to give. Otherwise, how can you do it? Okay, canned responses. How many of you use canned responses? Okay, there are a few who use canned responses. What do you use it for? Autoresponder is different. Autoresponder is different. Canned response is different.
I use it as a template.
Yeah, this is what people, somebody was asking about a template. You can use canned responses as a template. For example, in Diwali, New Year, blah, blah, blah. What happens? You get a whole lot of mails. We say Happy New Year, etc., etc. So what you say, reply, R for reply, and then you go for a canned response. In a canned response, what happens is, okay, I'll show you how to do it. Just see what happens. I go here, I have so many canned responses readily available. So I'll just say reciprocate. So what happens is, I say thank you for your good wishes, which we all heartily reciprocate. May you have a joyous and prosperous new year ahead, etc., etc. You notice I am not writing the name. Okay? I can send it to anyone. So some 200 mails you have to reply during Diwali, New Year, etc. What you do is, you create a canned response and fadafat, within a very short period, you can reply. Canned responses can also be used for multiple signatures, because otherwise Gmail allows you only one signature. How I got it, I'll explain to you. Understand the concept first, then I'll show it to you. Multiple signatures. For example, I am in a bank, I have my own organization, I am working for an educational institution, I am working for 4 institutions. Everybody has multiple, you are doing something for Assert also, you are doing something for your own organization, you are doing something for XYZ. I'll just understand the concept. Canned response is something where you make a template and you can send it to anyone at will. Typical things, thank you for your mail and I am going to look into it and you will get a response within the next few hours or few days or whatever you want to say, correct? That you can't send to somebody who sends you a Happy New Year card. You can't say, I am looking into it and I'll reply to you after. That is a autoresponder. Okay? So that you can't send it to everyone. That is for every mail that comes, you are going to write that. Here you select what you are going to respond, but that template is readily available to you. When you are talking of multiple signatures, what you are saying is, down below, instead of writing this, now for example, now in this case, my standard signature would have come. But I don't want to have this signature and I want to write another signature. So I go to canned responses. This has gone beyond the screen, unfortunately. It is very simple actually. I can say, I am the vice chairman of this. So now my vice chairman signature has come. So I can use it as multiple signatures, I can use it as a template, I can use it as a standard response for anything that I do. Are we clear on this? What I can do, how I can do, I will tell you. What I can do, first we have to understand. I can use canned responses, these are standard responses. Canned responses is a standard response. So again I go to settings. I have to enable canned responses. There is something called labs. Labs is a place where Gmail tries new features. They are in the laboratory stage. They are not 100% across the board implemented. So you go to labs and there is an option to enable canned responses. Here there is something called enable, what it says in the text, email for the truly lazy. Save and then send your common messages using a button next to the compose form. Also automatically send emails using filters. So in filter also, when you get a mail from a certain place or with a certain subject line, you can say send this canned response. So I don't even have to go and say select that particular thing. I have my filter set. You remember we had that option to send a canned response in the filters. So once you have enabled canned responses, you will be able to send it automatically. And then you can create your own canned responses like you are seeing here. Or if I am writing to my children, I don't want to say online this, that, etc. I will say love dad. Okay, so I can have different signatures, I can have different standardized replies, I can use multiple canned responses in the same email. So I used one earlier and I used another one next. You saw that response in this draft? No, sorry, not this one. So my first canned response was this, and my second canned response was the signature that I used. So I can use multiple canned responses in the same email also. I can do a mix and match. Okay, that makes my life very simple. I don't have to type the same thing again and again. Anything that I want to have to do repetitively, I am not interested. So anything that I do repetitively, I automate it. Yeah, so how do you create? So what you do is, first you type something, you highlight it, and then you go to canned response. Once you enable it, this, okay, once you enable it, it comes here in this small little arrow, more options. Once you enable it in your labs, it comes here. Here you have two sections. You have insert on the top, you have save, and you have delete. So you can highlight that, say insert, give a name, and that becomes your canned response. That name will come here in this list. Okay? The minute you say save, you will save it. The minute you say delete, you can delete it. It's very simple. But you have to enable it first in labs. Once you enable it in labs, then you come here, then this option will be visible. The other options here in this small box are all standard: plain text, mode, print, and check spelling. These are all standard. They come along with Gmail. Canned response is an add-on which you add. Using Gmail offline, not so important now, because now everybody has connectivity, but suppose you are traveling, you are on the plane or you are in a train, and on the plane you don't get connectivity. So do you stop all your work? No. You want to create a mail and you don't have Outlook because you are now wedded to Gmail. So what do? You use Gmail offline. There is an option to install Gmail offline. The minute you install Gmail offline, it will work exactly like Gmail without a connection. So you don't need a connection, and you can straight away start working on it. Compose your mail. Whenever the connection is restored, it will start sending and receiving automatically, just like Outlook.
But that is only for 1 month max or 3 days max, something of that.
No. When you enable Gmail offline, that time Gmail asks you, for how many months data do you want it on your hard disk? Now on your smaller laptops, I have an SSD hard disk which is only 128 GB. I don't want my entire Gmail to come here. So I'll say only last 15 days mails I will want to reply when I'm traveling. So I will enable it offline, do all my work. Whenever it gets connected, so that option you have, how many days you want to download the data. So there also you go to settings. There is an option called offline. And you say install Gmail offline. The minute you say install Gmail offline, you can install it and start using it just like Outlook. If you have a large hard disk, you can do the entire thing and you don't have to bother. You don't have to worry whether connection is there, connection is not there. Obviously, if there is no connection, you will not receive new mails. But all the old mails will always be stored internally. Yes, any questions? From all that I am telling you, you have to take only one thing and improve your productivity, and it will be worth it. Send mail later. Somebody was asking. Okay, we want to know. Why are you feeling embarrassed? There is a small extension that you have to install in Gmail. Everybody knows how to install extensions? No. On a browser, you install an extension by going to settings, and there is an option for extensions, and then you search for the extension number 1. But I am too lazy, so I just go into my search box and say Chrome extension XYZ, and it takes me to that page. I say install, and it is there. Okay, so I don't have to remember where I have to go, why I have to go, nothing. In this case, it is still simpler. First, let us see what works, how it works, and then how to set it up. So when I say compose, I type a mail. Whatever address you want to do. Okay. Can you see the bottom, send later? Okay. So I say send later. So it will ask you, when do you want to send it? In 1 hour, in 2 hours, in 4 hours, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, in 2 days, 4 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month.
I don't have that option. I don't know. That's why I never.
I will tell you how to install it. Okay, I am just showing you what can be done first. So you have all these options. When you want to send, or if you don't like any of his options, you can send it at a specific date and time. You can create a date and time. Very simple. So I say send it later, and I can send it later. Now what all this does? This tool does a lot of things. It can also schedule a recurring message. We are getting into an area where there is some paid stuff. Okay, what up to here, send later is free. When you want to do recurring, then you have to pay for it. Okay, there is a monthly fee of some $5, $10, whatever. So you can send it later, number 1. See, another thing, what you can do, and this is very important, boomerang this in 2 days, or in 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours. Boomerang this means what? Send it back to my inbox. Okay, this is very interesting. This extension is called Boomerang Gmail. Okay, what it does is, it sends it back to your inbox. So I want to do something just now, and I have a condition here. If I don't get a reply, if no reply, boomerang this in 2 days back to me. So if in 2 days the person who receives this, he doesn't reply to me, send it back to my inbox. So I am reminded, this fellow has not replied to my mail. Okay? Sorry? The recipient will not get anything. He will get your normal mail. But this mail will be held, and it will come back to your inbox after 2 days if that fellow has not replied. So Boomerang Gmail will keep track of this mail. If that fellow has replied, it will ignore it. Or there are other options also. If no reply is one option. No, this is not a paid feature. I'll explain to you what is paid and what is not paid. It says if no reply, if not clicked also, if he has not even read it, then within 2 days I want to know, then I have to send it again. Or if he has not opened it, Or I can say regardless, irrespective of whatever happens, just put it in my inbox at a certain time, date and time. Now this is very, very powerful. It started as a free service, Boomerang Gmail. Unfortunately, now they have made it paid. 10 messages in a month, they allow you to do free. Once you feel happy with it, probably sometime, somewhere, you will like to pay for it. But otherwise, it's a beautiful service, especially for important mails. I am quite happy with my 10 mails in a month, but if you have need for more, then definitely you can. So how you have to install it is very simple. Go to a site called boomeranggmail.com. There are 2 G's, Boomerang, Gmail. And it says add this to your Gmail. You just click on add this and finished. It is there. Send later, reminders, everything is automatically there. Interesting?
That send later is everything that you said.
Sorry? Send later,
Yeah. That's only for 10 messages.
That is, free is 10 messages. If you want more, you have to pay for it. They have to also live.
No, that is Boomerang, right? The earlier one that
So send later is part of Boomerang. Okay, now let us do it the other way around also. This you understood how to install it? Very simple. Go to Boomerang Gmail, add this to Gmail. This extension can be used only in Chrome and in Firefox. It cannot be used in Explorer. Explorer has a lot of limitations. Chrome has a lot of flexibility, and therefore people prefer Chrome. Apart from the speed, people prefer it because of the extensions. Maybe one day we will have one full session only on extensions, and you will see how many extensions are there. If you see on the top there, I have got a list, and there are more. Now many times what happens is, I get a mail, please. Many times I get a mail and I say, boss, this I am not going to reply today. 2 दिन के बाद reply करना है. What happens? It remains in your inbox, a minute, out of sight, out of mind. After 2 days you will forget. So what you have to do, you just go to Boomerang, return this conversation in my inbox after such a period. So my inbox can be clean. I don't need to keep anything in my inbox. My inbox can be totally clean. I can say return it tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, 2 days, 4 days, whatever. I can set a even if I don't like any of these, in 4 days, there is no 5 days. I can create a 5 days also and say return it to me in 5 days. Very, very smart and very useful, because automatically it will return it to my inbox. So this is not only for sending, this is also for received mails. What received mails, I have to take action. I can take action after a predetermined time, and my inbox will be clean. It will go out of my inbox. It will come back to me only when I have told it to come. Okay? I can select a random time, and other options are there. I can create by 5 p.m. today, or within 1 week, or within 1 month, or so within 1 month, anytime randomly it will come. Okay, even that option is there. So I am saying, abhi to time nahi hai, but whenever I get the time, so randomly send it within 1 month, sometime or the other send it, I will attend to it. Very, very powerful. I feel it is worth spending. If you need this sort of a functionality, it is worth spending. And let me tell you, whatever little I have been using of it, it has been extremely accurate. Never has it failed. You say, return it to me within 2 days, exactly on the second day, it is there in your inbox. Sometimes to the extent that I forget, ki, Are, ye pehle aaya tha ki abhi ka aaya? It will show you there. This has been returned to you as per your request.
this kind of thing is also available. You can convert a particular email to task also, right?
Sorry?
You can, a particular email
Yeah,
just come.
you can convert it to task. You can push it to calendar. There is something called Boomerang calendar. Yeah, without Boomerang also to push it to task, yes. But then to put it as a reminder and all, then you have to go through so many steps. Here it is very simple. You just click on it and decide. So what we will do now is I will send one mail to myself. Okay, I'll send, let us meet tomorrow at Taj Lands End at 4 p.m. Or make it simple, let us meet at Taj Lands End at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, I am sending it. Now, if you install, just like Boomerang Gmail, there is something called Boomerang Calendar. All of us use Google Calendar? Yes, because it is synchronized with our mobile and everything. So, it's very simple to use. So, I sent this mail. Obviously, if you see on top that undo option is there, so it will automatically send it. I'll just go to my sent box. Meeting tomorrow. Now I have installed Boomerang Calendar also. Now what happens is, when I get a mail like this fellow understands tomorrow is in a different font or in a different color. So when I go here and I hover here, it shows me tomorrow what are the time slots available to me in my Google Calendar. Can I straight away push it to the calendar at this event? I can push it. This is really, really useful. This is not chargeable, this is free. This is free. So far it is free. Sorry? Again, go to a site called boomerangcalendar.com, install, that's it. You start your browser again. Start your browser again. Okay, yeah, Boomerang Calendar. You have this option, download now, it will install, and that's it. There is nothing more to be done. Now just to give you a feel of what all this can do, I'll just play a short clip. They have a short clip here. I hope the sound comes up.
Meet Boomerang Calendar, a smart calendar assistant built into Gmail. To start using Boomerang Calendar, just open an email. Boomerang Calendar automatically detects event information inside of an email and highlights it for you with your free busy status. Green events mean you're free, red events mean you have a conflict, and yellow means you either have an all-day event or an adjacent.
The color coding also comes, so that if you have a conflict, it will automatically show you in red. If you have an open slot, it will show you in green. Okay?
You'll notice that none of these messages are written in any particular way. It's just natural language. Boomerang Calendar understands the way to write, even up to and including time.
Full है.
You'll notice it translates 4 p.m. Eastern into 1 o'clock.
Wire क्या है? HDMI में तो
I can also click on one of the times to see my full
HDMI में ये डालने का जरूरत नहीं है.
This time I'll look at my schedule, figure out which time works best, click it, add it to my calendar.
रहने दो. It's okay.
You'll notice that the Boomerang Calendar is already filled in duration of the meeting, who it's with,
Sorry?
where it is, and filled in the
No,
notes
it's
field
okay.
with the
Don't
body
bother.
of the email that I received.
It is the same thing what I showed.
Boomerang Calendar includes
But
one other
since this is
feature you
little
can't
more
get anywhere
elaborate,
else.
I said ki it
If you
might
check
be
the box
interesting.
at the bottom
So
of the
what it does
dialog,
is it
Boomerang
automatically
Calendar will send a reminder
the
email
time.
to all the attendees of the
If
meeting
you
at
have
the crack of
multiple
dawn,
people in
the day of the
email,
meeting.
it will also
That way
send a mail
everyone
to
is on
the
the same page.
People in the meeting.
Now, if I
Send
click
a
Add
reminder
Event, the event will automatically be added to my calendar. I don't have to do anything else. And I get a nice
Speaker is
confirmation
this.
at the top of the
Unfortunately,
screen.
The speaker should be connected there.
Boomerang Calendar also makes short work of proposing meetings. Just open up a Gmail Compose window and click Suggest Times to
If
Meet.
you say suggest times to
You'll see
meet,
your calendar
it will
laid
show
out in
you
front
a
of you right
calendar
there.
where all
And
your
then
free
inside that
times are
calendar, you can
also
click and drag
visible.
to suggest different
So
time
this
slots.
becomes very,
You can make
very
these
useful to
as
schedule
long
meetings.
or as short as you'd like.
I'll
And as I
just stop
create
this for the
them,
time
you'll
being.
notice that the template down at the bottom automatically fills in with the time slot.
So it pulls out the time slot from your Google Calendar and allows you to schedule your meetings. It shoots off a mail to different people. It also pushes it into their Google Calendar if they have a Gmail. Very useful. Boomerang Gmail and Boomerang Calendar both are very, very useful tools. They improve productivity like anything. Very simple to install. Just go there, download now, and that's it. Again, cross time zone scheduling is also available. So if you are having meetings, somebody is sitting here, somebody is in Dubai, somebody is in San Francisco, automatically they will get the correct time, local time. They will not get my time. Otherwise, it's always, you know how difficult it is to coordinate a meeting across time zones. It will do that also. And when you are planning an event, you can even share your availability. So you can show these are my time slots where I am available. Other people can decide when they want to, and depending on the majority, then you can schedule a meeting.
In case if we change the laptop, we need to download all the extensions again and install it.
No. No, that is the beauty. If I install an extension here, my home computer will already have it because I am logged in Chrome. In Chrome. Chrome is the guy who handles everything. So there is an option to sign into Chrome. You must have seen it. So if you are signed into Chrome, Chrome will do all this magajmari. So I don't have to remember anything. Chrome will handle everything. So if I remove one extension here just now, in all my computers, my office computer, my home computer, everything will be reset. Whether added or deleted. Whatever I do, it is automatic. Sorry? You had some query? So Chrome handles all this. And as I said, sometimes you can even have recurring emails that go. Suppose every morning, every week, suppose you are supposed to get a report from multiple people, and you want, yes. So if you have a paid version, then you have so many other options. You can send a recurring mail, like on Monday morning, you have to send a mail to a few people, say the managers in a particular territory. So automatically you can send a mail. All these things, recurring mail sending also is possible if you are going to use Boomerang Gmail. It's not very expensive. I don't think it is. But for the convenience it gives, I think you are enjoying Gmail so long for free, so I don't mind, you should not mind paying slightly for the convenience that you are having. Let's see how much it costs. Pricing is here. Yeah, it's not very expensive. $5 per month. Free is only 10 per month message credits and so many other options. You can even track a click, whether that fellow has clicked the mail or not. You can track that also with Boomerang. Response tracking, reminders, etc., etc. And then recurring messages you can send only in this $15 a month option. Boomerang Insights. This is something very interesting. I just got a mail today. What Boomerang does is it monitors all my mails and it tells me how your mails are getting responded. what are the words that get you maximum response, what are the words that give you minimum response, what is the subject line. If you have 4 words in the subject line, maybe you get maximum response. If you have only 1 word in the subject line, you will get minimum response. Entire analysis, it is a beautiful thing. Although I have not paid for it, but he is trying to get me to pay. So Boomerang Insights is a beautiful insight which actually tracks how many people respond, how fast they respond, all that it tracks. And it does not hamper you at all. When you are sending and receiving mails, you don't even think about it. But these insights help you to learn much more about the activity, about the behavioral patterns of people who receive your mails. What works, what doesn't work. Very interesting. That's a little steep. I'm sure it is a little steep. But then I always like to enjoy the technology behind it. How they handle millions of mails and they analyze and they come up with these figures, which again become useful. See, for a person who is in the media, it becomes useful. I should know how many people are going to respond, why they are not responding, because my subject line is faulty, or because my text is faulty, or because I'm writing too lengthy or too short. What is it? It gives a beautiful analysis of the entire thing. That's a different session by itself. SMS and, okay, we'll touch upon that. Once we finish this, remind me to touch upon that. It's very simple, but very useful. Okay, so Boomerang Gmail, Boomerang Calendar is done. Using tabs, we know how to use tabs. Yeah? How to push messages from one tab to the other. Yeah, you just hold it and drag it to the other tab. It's very simple. There is no, when you are now the new Gmail, just for those who are not knowing this, quickly I'll run through this. So you have got your inbox divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections: social, promotions, updates, and forums. Now certain mails always go into updates and you feel that they should come in the inbox. You just go to your updates and just pick it up and push it to your primary inbox. Once you do this, it says, has been moved to primary. Do you want to do this for future messages? You say yes, and all future messages will come to your inbox. So sometimes important messages also get into a different inbox, and you want them to come in your main inbox, or vice versa. You want some of these messages to go to forums, to go to updates, wherever, or promotions. So that's a very simple. Sorry? Internally, it creates a filter. Yeah, you don't have to bother. It creates a filter. It just says from this particular person, just move it to the. Themes. Themes is something only fun. You just set a theme. You have those fancy colors, etc., etc. So it's not really much. What is templates? drive.google.com/templates. This is a very old thing. Not many people use it. But a lot of times you have to create a mail and you don't know how to start it and how this will go. And so there are ready-made templates. You can create your own templates also. This answers your other question, if you want to send the same mail to multiple people. So you've got public templates, templates I've used, or you can create your own templates. Okay, so you have other types of templates. You have cards, and you have calendars and schedules and calculators and personal finance and presentation designs and blah, 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 blah on the left. So you can just pick up, I want a presentation. drive.google.com/templates. And I say party invitation, use this template, or I can preview it first. If I like it, I can say use this template, and I can create a whole new mail using this template. It's as simple as that. It's very, very useful. The connection is a bit slow. Start using it. It's as simple as that.
Recipient other than Gmail also will be able to see.
Sorry?
Recipient other than Gmail ID.
Recipient can be anyone. So when I say use this template, I can change the text and all, but I have something which is readily available. It goes directly into my docs. I can push it to my Gmail and go ahead. So the templates are, as you must have seen, there are n number of templates: presentation templates, labels and business cards, legal, faxes, letters, presentation designs. There is no end to it. You want to create a CV. Sorry? There are templates for that also, yeah. But I leave it for you to explore. Just the idea is that there are templates, so many templates are available. You can just click on it and start using it. Help we have already seen, contacts we have seen, groups you have seen.
How can one use it for mass mail marketing?
See, mass mailing, don't use Google for mass mailing. You will be blocked, number one. You should use certain tools, probably something like MailChimp or something is much more powerful, number one. Number two is, of course, MailChimp also has its own rules. You can't mass mail to unknown people, and if more than 0.3% of the people report it as spam, your account again gets blocked. So those days of mass mailing indiscriminately are slowly getting over. Once in a while you may be able to get through. We also have so many clients who come and say, I want 1 lakh mails, and you just send it to them. We don't do it. Because your ID will get blocked, your account will get blocked. Even on MailChimp, your account can get blocked. So try to send mails only to those people who have agreed to receive your mails. That's about it. We saw this question. We also saw this using of question mark that gives us this help window. Groups, we know how to make groups of people, and then you just type the name of the group and all the mail accounts will come. So that is nothing great. Calendar, most of us are using the calendar, so I'm not going deep into the calendar, although there are lots of other things which can be done with the calendar. Docs everybody is using very, very happily, because it is again free and you get a whole lot of space, and I have increased my space, so I get about 100 GB free more for about $2 per month, which is a very, very good price. And my entire life is now on Google. These are some of the things which we can do with Gmail. As I said earlier, there are lots more, but then we are restrained by time. We can go further if you want. We can see some tricks in Google also, if everybody is interested. Print remotely is over a network you can print without having a connection. Okay, so you set that is more a Chrome feature rather than a Gmail feature. It's more a Chrome feature. Yes, please. Yeah. No, you can. Yeah. See, there are 3 levels of sharing. One is read only. That is one level. The other is he can edit it also. But the most powerful feature there is you can do a collaborative edit. So I can edit, you can edit at the. You can revoke the permission. You can revoke the permission, but there is no password there. Yes, please. Compose SMS, okay. Since he also told me, and I use this all the time, actually. Okay, this is a small app. Now we get into the apps area. It is not really Gmail, but it is an app area. What happens here is, would you rather send SMSs on computer or on your phone? Can you type as fast on the phone as on your computer? Never. So you are always comfortable. And normally in your workplace, you are sitting at your desk. Obviously, if you are out, you are not carrying your computer all the time. Or even if you are carrying your laptop, you don't want to open it up all the time. But if you are in your workplace and you want to send and receive SMSs, there is a small app called Mighty Text. Okay, Mighty Text. You install Mighty Text. I will get carried away, unfortunately, because if we go into Mighty Text, there are lots and lots of things there. What it does is, it allows you to send and receive SMSs from your computer. So if I say compose SMS, there is a small box comes here. Okay. Now I have my entire address list of Gmail comes here automatically. I don't have to do anything. So let me try somebody. Okay. I can just type the text. Okay. And say send. That's it. It uses my phone SMS and sends the text. And even when receiving, it does the same thing. It uses my phone SMS and both should be connected to the same network. Okay? Network. This fellow should be internet enabled, obviously. And my phone also should be online. Yeah. So you download the app on your phone, you download the app on your computer. Once you set it, you give your Gmail account, user ID and password, then it connects. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, sent message it is saying. Now here you'll see a small icon here. Okay, so I can use it directly from my Gmail, I can use it directly from my Facebook, and I can use it independently of Gmail and Facebook also. I can say open Mighty Text. Only thing is, when they are on different networks, the thing gets very slow. But yes, now whatever I sent just now, I can store my messages for up to 6 months with the paid version. Okay, so I don't care about my phone memory. I can store it here up to 6 months. All my messages, see just now, this has not gone. It shows this timer. So probably it is waiting for the phone. Say here says waiting for the phone to send message. If they are on the same network on your Wi-Fi, it moves beautifully. But this is only one part of the story. Sending and receiving messages, very simple. How many times you type your office address? My office address is blah 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 with a link to my send. That's it. You can create templates. Okay, in the paid version you can create templates. It doesn't cost much. It costs something like 2,500 rupees one time, I think. It's not even recurring. No, it's recurring, sorry. It's recurring. But you create templates and you can straight away, while I'm talking on the phone to somebody, he says, oh, send me your office address. I say, you please put the phone down and just check your SMS. It's already there. Because I can create templates like whatever. Missed call, again, my email address is so-and-so. Whatever you want to create, you can create your templates. Templates are allowed only in the paid version. You can send up to 25 messages in the pro version at a time. You can transfer files from your phone to the computer and from the computer to the phone, again in the paid version. There are lots of other things you can do. Suppose I go to contacts. All my contacts will be listed here. If I want to dial out, I can pick up any number and I say dial this number and it will start dialing from the phone. I have a Bluetooth, I can start talking. It's all hands-free. This is really, really good. It can save you hours and hours of time. Looking up for a particular number, suppose I am looking for something, so straight away I can go to that place, just say call, or if I want to say SMS, I can say send a new message, my SMS comes. Send it to groups. There's a photo editing software also that is just for fun. You can take a photograph and put caps and post specs and all that jazz. What high-end photo editors do, this fellow can do, but we are not doing that. But the paid version has something more interesting. So somebody says, remind me after 5 days. So we saw that send it later. So here you have a timer. You can send an SMS on a date and time. So if you have to wake up the driver in the night at 12:30 to pick up a guest, you don't have to wake up at 12:30. You can create the timer here. Send this message at 12:30 in the night. It will go to him. Now, when I was telling this, other people were saying driver's phone is not working, driver's phone is off, driver is sleeping, he doesn't listen to the phone, I can't help it. I can only send an SMS to his phone. That's about all I can do. But I can't push him and wake him up. Sorry? Scheduling of calls is not possible. But if you are scheduling a call, means you have to be awake, no? See, there are lots of people who say, remind me next week and I'll give you the payment. So next week you will forget. So there and then you are creating an SMS and sending him a reminder. On your phone in the sent box, you will get that. You will see that you have sent him a reminder. Very useful, very useful. And, okay, there are a whole lot of things. I can create a message and save it as a draft also. So I have to find out some more details and I cannot send the message immediately. So I have to look up something, I have to refer to something. I can save it as recall the draft and send the message. And if you see here, you can delete messages on the phone while you can retain them here. Send as a group message, group SMS, group MMS. Ring my phone when someone sends me an SMS that contains my alert keyword. Whole lot of stuff it is there. Mighty Text is really, really great. I use it all the time. People who are using iPhone have a similar app. It's not called Mighty Text. I don't know what it is called, but they have some. It is there and it is as good. So you have the scheduler, you have. So whether you are in Facebook, whether you are in Gmail, or whether you are in Mighty Text, everywhere you get the functionality of SMS the same. You can create an SMS. You don't have to leave that particular interface. I think I'll stop for now because if I get into apps, it's as I said, it's a different session by itself. If I get into Evernote, it's a different session by itself. But I won't get into that. Quickly, can I just run through one or two things in Gmail? At the bottom of Gmail, you see your how much space you have used. And on the right, you will see where all your account is logged in from. So suppose you find some suspicious activity and you feel that this is not me, then you can, when you say show details, you can even disconnect that particular link. Now I have so many apps, they are also connecting to my Gmail. So I have to scrutinize it carefully. But if you don't have many apps or you don't have many connections to Gmail, you can use this as a See, it says sign out of all other web sessions. So only this session will remain. So this is something interesting and very useful for security purposes. That you need to see this once in a while. Now there are so many apps which are using this, and therefore they go on polling from my Gmail account. Google, just a few quick tips if we can spend another 5-10 minutes with your permission, unless everybody is tired and hungry. Oh, they also have their restriction. Okay, then we'll stop just now. We'll continue in some other place. Sorry, we can have. Yes, of course. So when I say we take 2 hours for Gmail, nobody believes. But there is a lot more to learn in Gmail itself. Thank you very much.
Friends, that was absolutely an eye-opener for all of us IT people. An amazing session about something as simple as Gmail. And I think one of the beautiful parts about the whole thing is that Mr. Yazdi was actually so willing to share his knowledge with all of us. And he was really excited to talk to all of you. I think he really deserves a bigger round of applause for coming and talking to us. Thank you so much for making all the IT fraternity a little bit more IT literate. Really nice of you. And friends, please fill in the feedback form. There are lucky draw prizes also for this. And Arvind, can I just have you on stage? Friends, we have a small token of appreciation for Mr. Yazdi. Please give a token of appreciation to Mr. Yazdi. Thank you so much once again. That is later during dinner.
Yes, you can take them from Deepak.
Can you please select 10 points?
हर एक विनर का ठीक है मैंने फोन नहीं दिया सर अभी ऐसा ही था
First winner is Shashank Dalal.
Shashank Dalal, can you say?
come on this side so that we want asset photo when you are gifting
This is Shashank Dalal, Unicom Info Solutions Private Limited. Shashank, you have won a net profit. Okay, so
Shashank doesn't get it okay Santosh quick jaldi
you have won a net protector for the security pack from NCAB.
Please close it. Please. Yeah.
Next winner is Mr. Rajesh Agarwal ji from
Ashray.
Rajesh bhai, please come on the stage.
Rajesh bhai, please.
Rajesh sir ji.
Rajesh bhai, jao.
Congratulations. Next lucky winner. Any guesses? Who can win this? This is Mr. Fission Cloud, Rohit JW. Fission Cloud is gold sponsor. We'll Come. Fission Cloud, Mr. Rohit JW. Congratulations, you won a net protector total security pack. Congrats. Okay, the next winner, Mr. Parekh Devendra from Shri Mark Computers. Devendra and Shri Mark Computers. Devendra ji. Congratulations. Next winner is Mr. Kaushik G. Patel from Icon Computers. Kaushik Bhai. Kaushik Bhai won a net protector network security pack. Thank you. The next winner for net protector pack is Mr. Ketan Gandhi Ji from VIntech. Ketan at VIntech.com. Ketan Bhai. Ketan Gandhi जी सर यहाँ पे देखो सर थैंक यू मिस्टर गिरीश राठौर नेक्स्ट विनर फॉर द NPAV pack all winners kindly give us your feedback about the net protector product that you are going to install. Mr. Uday sir. Mr. Uday Gonkar, AG Digitas. Congratulations. Blue chip. Sir, excuse me. Thank you. Rajesh bhai, yes. Urdu. Mr. Shripad Maneji from Technocare IT. Just a second, sir. Excuse me. Thank you. Congratulations. The last and best winner for tonight. Technocare. Shripad Mane from Technocare. Mr. Shripad. Large call for Mr. Shripad. Jam Computers. Sachin, please run.
Say run. Fast.
Congratulations.
10 seconds left. 9, 8, 7, 6.
Sorry for disturbing your dinner. Congratulations, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.